Ghosts 2022 Game of the Year, which is 100% objectively factual. This is based not on games that released last year, but these are based on games that I streamed last year. So it's not really a Game of the Year for games that released. It's just the games that I played, which I think is a fair way to do it, I guess. So we have such categories as Best Soundtrack, Best Narrative, Best Gameplay, Best Mechanic. I had Best Multiplayer. I didn't play any multiplayer games this year, so I've changed Best Multiplayer to Best Minigame. And we have the Ultimate Waifu. We have Best Graphics / Style, Best Boss, Most Anticipated Game for 2023, the most surprising game that I played, like the most surprisingly good game, or the game that I enjoyed the most that surprised me, the biggest letdown for 2022, and then my top 5 games of the year. Biggest letdown? Nah. Nah. Okay, so we are starting things off with Best Soundtrack. And the nominees for Best Soundtrack are Elden Ring, because I had some banger tracks in it. Xenoblade Chronicles 3, which only really had one good track, and it was any time you had a fight against an Ouroboros guy. Hey, Guardians of the Galaxy had an amazing soundtrack, okay? There was like an entire album's worth of songs in that game that were just amazing. Like when you're sitting on the bed at the start of that game, just listening to this album, amazing. Well, see, yeah, I mean, most of the songs, yes, you did have to mute them, but the album that you could listen to in that game that wasn't DMCA, it was like original to that game, was amazing. And MS Saga. MS Saga had a banging soundtrack. Right. And as much as you guys give me shit for putting Guardians of the Galaxy on here, Guardians of the Galaxy is the winner. Alright? The album's great. I would buy that album. You can't be pissed already, Sword. Come on. Come on. Exactly. The songs that we were allowed to listen to on stream were pretty good. All right, what was the next category? I already can't remember the order of my own categories. Oh, it's Best Narrative. Oh, yeah. So we got some in here. We got Stranger of Paradise. I really liked what they did with like the retelling of Final Fantasy 1 and like how you find out that it was like a prequel. It was really cool. God of War Ragnarok, because, you know, obviously. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 had a really good story. I really enjoyed it. And then The Somnium Files, Nirvana Initiative, had one of the most fucked up stories and just confusing stories as you were going through it. That once you got to the end of the game, it all just clicked, you know? It all made sense. And that's why it wins Best Narrative. Yeah. Just because of how everything just made absolutely no sense for like 90% of the game. And then you get to the end and you're just like, oh shit. So, yeah. Yeah, it was pretty great. It was pretty great. Pretty great. Yeah. What was the next category? Oh yeah. Best gameplay of the year. We have Elden Ring. And also Stranger of Paradise, because you guys know I love a Souls-like. Midnight Suns is on here because I actually really liked the card-based like strategy type type there. Inscription is on here because man, it had some really cool elements to that game. And the fact that the game is split into like 3 chapters, all with their own like distinct play style, and it's essentially like 3 games in one. Yeah, it was actually really cool, and I actually really enjoyed it. And there was some elements to the game that that really stood out to me, like the whole accessing your Steam friends list and creating cards within the game based on your Steam friends. And then you could download, you could like upload files into the game, and then based on like you could upload a video file, and based how long that video file was, it would like lower the cooldown on a certain thing. Yeah, there was just some really cool stuff. Anyway, Inscription wins because it was fucking great. You see, you preempted that. You typed that in before you even knew what the winner was. And then as soon as I announced the winner, you were there, ready to just be mad about it. Despite the fact that the correct game won. I know, right? Anyway, what's the next one? Oh, best mechanic of the year. So Midnight Suns is on here for the same reason as the gameplay thing. Inscription is on here for the uploading files and taking your friends list and creating cards and stuff like that. Tunic is on here because the game basically explains absolutely nothing to you, and you basically find pages of a game manual and read it, and that explains like the story and the puzzles and everything. I just thought Tunic was a really cool game. And Sifu, the Sifu mechanic of like aging as you die and going through the levels, and as you get older you get stronger but you have less health. I thought that was a really interesting mechanic, and it kind of played on the whole, it was like a roguelike and a Souls-like kind of mixed into one, I guess. Yeah, it was really cool. Anyway, Sifu wins. You don't remember Tunic? Really? Yeah, Tunic was fun. Yeah, it had to be Sifu for me. I really enjoyed Sifu. It was a bit easy though. Bit easy. I feel like Inscription is the only one you've been happy about so far. Everything else you've just been like, nah, fuck this guy. A bit easy, he says, as the devs had to add difficulty options in a patch. Yeah, that's because people suck. Not me. Anyway, what's next? Oh, best mini game of the year. Here we go. So the mini games that we have on offer are, I know it's not technically a mini game, but the kingdom building, like side stuff in Ni no Kuni 2, kind of liked. Horizon Forbidden West. I can't remember what the game was called. I just remember it was like a little bit like chess. Was the only good thing about that game. I liked it. Star Ocean. It had that mini game in it that I can't remember what it's called. It was a bit like chess. No, it wasn't. But it was basically the only good thing about that game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla had that mini game that I can't remember what it's called. It was the one with the dice and the... yeah. I can't remember what it's called. I can't... basically, what I'm trying to get at is I can't remember what any of these mini games were called, but it was the only good thing about these games. Orlog? That can't be what it's called. Really? I should play Kingdom Come Deliverance? Nah. If I finished the games, I would know. I doubt it. Also, yeah, you're right. I technically shelved all of these games, but only one of them I would be willing to go back to. Only Assassin's Creed Valhalla I would be willing to go back to. The other three, not so much. Yeah, I'm not going back to Horizon. Fuck that game. God, that game's boring. Assassin's Creed Valhalla wins. Oh, spoilers for next year's Game of the Year awards, by the way, but Xenocard is probably going to win. All right. What's the next category? Best DLC / expansion of the year. I didn't actually play that many DLCs / expansions. What Souls game would I go back to if I had a choice? I mean, I have a choice. I can go back to any Souls game that I like. But if I could only play one, I'd probably play Neo 2. Okay, so Destiny 2 is basically the entirety of Destiny 2. Because that game is that game is no longer a game. It is just DLC and expansions. The original game doesn't exist anymore. So for Destiny 2, it's basically the game. Bloodborne, or the Old Hunters. Obviously, it has Lady Maria. It has Orphan. Yeah, Neo 2 is pretty good. This is the Marvel Avengers game, but it's very specifically the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster Thor DLC, because that's the only character that I had any fun playing in that game. The rest of it was kind of meh. Did I run out? Like I said, I didn't play that many DLCs or expansions or anything, so I just had to throw that on there. For Mass Effect, there was a few that I was considering for this. So for Mass Effect 2, there was Lair of the Shadow Broker. There was the Kasumi DLC, because it features probably the best loyalty mission of any of them. The Stolen Memory loyalty mission for Kasumi is probably the best one. For Mass Effect 3, there was also the Omega DLC, which was really good. The Citadel DLC, which was really good. Lots on offer. And the winner is Mass Effect. Mass Effect had the best DLC. Yeah, Omega, Citadel, Kasumi. What was the other one? What other one did I say? Shadow Broker. Yeah. There we go. Mass Effect. What's the next category? I don't even know. Waifu. Here we go. Here we go. Sword's favorite category. We have Maria, Lady Maria of the Clock Tower. Or is it Astral Clock Tower? I don't know. I can never remember. We have Tama from The Somnium Files, Nirvana Initiative. We have Li Fang from MS Saga. Because obviously, she's great. We got Rani from Elden Ring, obviously. Yes, that is the Elden Ring witch. Yes, yes it is. And then we got Mio from Xenoblade 3. All very good choices. Listen, I don't know what to tell you, alright? It's been a really barren year for me playing good games, okay? Listen, I'm trying my best here. When I was going back through my VODs and making a list of all the games that I'd played this year, a lot of the time, I would say like 80% of them, I was like, man, I played some really shit games this year. Anyway, I think it's pretty obvious who the winner's gonna be. It's Tama! Hooray!
don't want to be rude, but you're a bitch.
Wow. That is rude.
Piss off, Ghost!
What do you mean? Tama's obviously the best. Not even Li Fang. I think Tofu would agree with me here. All right. I think Tofu would agree that Tama is the correct choice. Tofu has trash taste. That's true. All right. Best graphics / style of the year. We have Cuphead, which, let's not forget, I beat in 6 hours because that game is easy as fuck. Boss instead of Tama. I considered it. I did consider it. I do like Boss as well. I didn't want to put 2 characters from the same game on there. I just found out that Kadakawa owns From Software as well. iFiles creator. Oh. How isn't Uni from Xenoblade? Because Uni from Xenoblade is terrible. Anyway, we have Cuphead, that really easy game, and Sifu, that really easy game. I've never been like a massive fan of the Cuphead, like old school style. Like it's good, but it's never really been like my thing where I've just kind of looked at it and been like, oh yeah, that's so I like how they were able to incorporate that style into the game, or like into game form. It's never really been my favorite. Sifu I kind of liked because it had like this really, I don't know, it was like in some areas it was kind of like a very simplistic style, but also like very detailed at the same time. I don't know, it was like really weird. Like it's hard to explain. Like I'm even looking at this picture of Sifu right now, and I'm just kind of like, how would I explain this art style to somebody? And I don't think I'd be able to. But it looks really nice. It looks really pretty. I like it. Inscription is on here. I'm a really big fan of like pixel stuff. And I think because Inscription had like 3 very distinct styles of pixel animation, like the animation style that you get in Act 1 of Inscription is very cool. Like it was first person and very dark and gruesome, I guess. And then it kind of simplified it a little bit for Act 3, where you went through like the medieval period and then there was like a futuristic period. It had like a very, it had like varying degrees of pixel animation. I thought it was really cool. And then Tunic, I really liked Tunic's style. I thought it was really cool. It was almost like, I don't know, like it was made out of paper, I guess. Like it looks like the kind of thing that you could just like make out, like just have like a piece of card on like a set Yeah, I actually really liked it. But the winner is Inscription. Like I said, I was a big fan of the pixel style, and I thought it was really cool. It hooked me. I really enjoyed it. Man, Inscription was just so good. You have a very bad premonition creeping up on you. Oh yeah. Speaking of premonitions, I actually had 5 choices for this because obviously. So we have best boss of the year. So there are some boss fights here. We have the Mr. Freeze boss fight from Arkham City, which was very cool. The fact that you couldn't attack him or you couldn't damage him the same way twice, and you had to like get creative with how you took him down, I thought was a really interesting experience for that game. I really thought that was good. We have in the top right Melania from Elden Ring. That boss fight took me like, what was it? 7 hours, 6 hours, something like that, like 300 attempts. It was, yeah, that was honestly a really frustrating fight. We have Lady Maria of the Astral Clock Tower, which surprisingly, well, surprisingly to some, but not to me, because I'm the best. I've never died to Maria. I've had 3 fights against Maria. Never died to her. She's easy. Anybody who dies to Maria, get out of here. You're rubbish. Then we've got Ishin, the Sword Saint from one of Sekiro's. Oh yeah, from one of Sekiro's endings. Much like Melania, this boss took me 6 hours to beat. I died to this boss as much as I did the entire game combined. I think it was 32 deaths in the rest of the game, and then 32 deaths to Ishin by himself. Sorry about that. I had to talk to my brother about something. What about High Lord Wolnir? Well, I didn't play Dark Souls 3 this year, so unfortunately, Wolnir didn't make the list. Alco, hello. Out of all of them, bowling you loved that much, you took your time and had at least an entire stream. That is true, yeah. So Ishin took me 32 deaths, the same as the rest of the game. And then Deadly Premonition 2 is on here. So originally, this was the Valkyrie Queen from Ragnarok. And I actually changed it to Deadly Premonition 2 because of that one Umbral mentioned it earlier, and it was actually mentioned earlier as well. The bowling incident. The bowling is considered a boss in this instance because fuck it. Fuck that bowling. An entire 8-hour stream dedicated purely to trying to hit like a 6-7-10 split. And it was honestly one of the most fun streams I've had all year. We just sat here and we listened to music and we just tried to do this thing. And yeah, it was amazing. It was really fun. And I really enjoyed it. But yeah, the best boss of the year, the one that once I finally got it, made me feel really happy and Sword is already preemptively angry about my decision, and he's probably going to be angry with my decision, but for me, my favorite boss of the year is Ishin the Sword Saint. Actually, that's a good point. Torghast should have been on here. Or God Gundam. You actually expected this? Really? You expected Ishin to be boss of the year? Huh. Fair enough. I love this boss. This boss was so cool to fight. The fact that you have to fight 2 different versions of Genichiro just to get to this boss. And every time you die, you have to refight Genichiro. And then you have to fight 3 versions of Ishin is insane. You're going to go play Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order? Good choice. I'll see you later, late gamer. Have fun. Melania just isn't good. I agree. I agree. Melania is not that great. All right. Most anticipated game of 2023. We have another Ishin. The bowling is on YouTube. However, it is currently restricted worldwide because for whatever reason, 8 months later, somebody decided to copyright claim it. Well, Lies of P doesn't have a release date. So I only went for games that have a definite confirmed release date for 2023. Lies of P just says sometime in 2023. It doesn't actually have a proper release date yet, so I didn't include it. I did consider it though. So we have Like a Dragon Ishin. This game in the top right, I couldn't find a proper image for it, but that is Wo Long Fallen Dynasty. I think the new Team Ninja Souls-like game. I actually really am looking forward to that. It looks like it's going to be really fun. I saw some people playing the beta. Looks really good. We've got Trails into Reverie, which I'm also looking forward to. And then I'm looking forward to just getting back to some Mega Man Battle Network. So having the Legacy Collection coming out later this year, I'm really looking forward to that. It's easily Ishin. We're all eager to go back to karaoke. Maybe. It's going to be on Game Pass day one. Yes, I did hear about that. It means I don't actually have to buy it. I can just download it through Game Pass. Good times. Anyway, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious what the answer to this is. It's like a Dragon Ishin. Of course it is. As much as I like Souls-likes, the Yakuza series in general are just fantastic games, and they will always hold a special place in my heart. And yeah, it's like a dragon. I'm super looking forward to this. I can't wait. I don't even know what the next category is. Oh yeah, most surprising game of the year. We have Asterigos, which is a game that I just kind of picked up on a whim and was like, yeah, I guess I'll give it a try. And it actually really surprised me with how fluid the combat is and how varied the different weapons were. We got fuck, I already forgot how to pronounce it. Kena? Here we go. That Bridge of Spirits game, which was really fun. The little, the cute little rot things were pretty good. And they were very cute. We got Inscription, which I didn't really know what to think of it going in. And then it just turned out to be this amazing deck building game that did some things that I'd never seen before that I really enjoyed. It was, yeah, you know what? That game was surprisingly difficult. For like how cutesy and the game was, it was like one of those games that was just way harder than you would think that it was. But yeah, it was like it was so hard to the point where on the final boss I had to drop the difficulty down to easy just to finish it. That final boss was mind-numbingly frustrating. And then we have MS Saga. The reason MS Saga made the list is because it was a suggestion from Umbral, and Umbral is notorious for suggesting shit games. And this was the first game that Umbral had suggested that I was just like, yeah, I mean, I might check it out. I might, yeah, why? Yeah, okay, why not? And then I did. And it actually really surprised me with like how in depth it was with the like customization aspect of it. And yeah, it had like, I don't know. I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. Even a broken Umbra was right twice a day. Yes, exactly. But yeah, for me, the winner is MS Saga. MS Saga was, yeah, of course. Because I kind of went into it with somewhat low expectations, and I thought it would get carried for me just purely on the back of the fact that it was a turn-based RPG. But yeah, it just surprised me in so many ways. How much did Umbral pay me? nothing, and therefore not enough. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I've had a lot of issues streaming the past 6 months or so, 5 or 6 months, due to just like personal reasons, and for like a lot of time, for a lot of that time I had really lost my drive and my love for streaming and just playing games in general. And yeah, this one really surprised me with how much I enjoyed it. Anyway, what's the next one? Oh, biggest letdown of the year. Here we go. So we have Star Ocean, The Divine Force, which looked like it was going to be pretty good. I thought I was going to like really get into it and really enjoy it, and I thought it was going to be a Star Ocean game, and it wasn't. No Todd. No, see, Skyrim and Fallout aren't on here because I already knew I wasn't gonna like them going into it. So that wasn't really much of a letdown. How is Soul Hackers on here? Because Soul Hackers was fucking trash. That's why. Like, I had such high hopes for it. Just purely on the back of SMT4, SMT4 Apocalypse, SMT5, Persona 3, 4, and 5. I had such high hopes for Soul Hackers 2. And then... And the trailers for them made the game look cool. And then I played it, and I was just bored. Horizon is on here just because, like, I know I give the first Horizon a lot of shit, but the reason I give the first Horizon a lot of shit is just because the characters are so unlikable. And Aloy as a character is just so insufferable to listen to. But the gameplay of Horizon Zero Dawn was actually enough to like carry the game for me to actually be pretty good. Unfortunately, Forbidden West did not have that same effect on me. Forbidden West was so boring. And yeah, I had to include it just because I was just so like even the gameplay just didn't. I would say the Horizon Forbidden West was a step backwards somehow. Now here we go. Probably the most controversial inclusion on this list is Elden Ring. Now, the reason I've included Elden Ring on here is because a Souls game lives and dies by its boss fights. And the boss fights in Elden Ring were so utterly underwhelming. Like, there's 175 bosses in the game. And I would say that maybe 3 of them are good. And I'm not even counting Melania on that. Yeah, there's definitely a quantity over quality aspect to it. Which, listen, I guess it's understandable, right? It's the first time they've tried an open world Souls game of this, like, magnitude, I guess. So they wanted to populate it with bosses. But did they really have to populate it with, like, 20 versions of the same flying stone cat statue? Like, yeah, it just... The bosses were very underwhelming. Like, the setting was really cool. The locations were really cool. There was a lot of cool aspects to the game. But like I said, a Souls game lives and dies by its boss fights, and the boss fights were just so utterly devoid of quality that, yeah, I just had to include it. And speaking of including it, it also wins my biggest letdown of the year. No, not Divine Force. No, not Divine Force. Elden Ring. Elden Ring was the biggest letdown for me. Oh yeah, I guess I probably should change winner to loser, but I don't know. I don't think it matters that much. Oh yeah, the hype for the game was unreal. Like I try not to get caught up in the hype for things like that, because then I know I'm definitely going to be disappointed. And I would like to think that I didn't get that caught up in it, because I didn't really think about it too much. I was just like, right, there's a new Souls game coming out. It should be really good. And I just kind of left it at that. But yeah, like I said, there was like some cool aspects to it. It did things right. It also did a few things wrong, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, here we go. Here we go with the top 5 games of the year. The last category. So we have 5 games. Hot taste detected warning. We'll see. We'll see. At number 5. I regret even putting this on my list, but I had to. It's Deadly Premonition 2. Deadly Premonition 2 was one of those games that, although it's so bad, like, it's not like the first game where it's like one of those so bad it's good kind of moments. But this game was, it was bad. It was a bad game. But it had some redeeming qualities. And for me, mostly, it was just that one bowling stream. You read it as Dead 2E premonition. Yeah, for me, it mostly comes down to that one bowling stream, the bowling incident that that we went through. I think that was enough to kind of tip it over the edge for me. Because like I said, this is a game of the year list based on games that I've streamed. So obviously the streaming aspect of it also factors into some of my decision making for stuff like this. And for that stream to have been one of the best of the year, yeah, I'm pretty confident that it would be on here. In fourth place, we have Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I put a lot of time into this game, a lot of effort into this game. It was one of the games that I don't know. It's kind of difficult for me to put it here. It was one of the games that after I came back from the US, it was one of the games that me and Rivi really bonded over, and it was just like, eh. It is what it is now, but yeah, this game was pretty good. It was pretty good. It made me really appreciate some of the story beats on it that I possibly would have missed otherwise. And you know, it had really good characters. It had one good track in it from the soundtrack. The Ouroboros fight was pretty good. And yeah, and you know, like we were talking about Final Fantasy earlier, I love a job system. So being able to switch my character's classes on the fly or whatever, really enjoyed that. Yeah, number 4, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Number 3, Inscription. I think I've said quite a lot of what? Sorry, did you think this was going to be number 1? You guys are going to be so mad when you see Elden Ring is the biggest letdown, but also game of the year. I mean, shut up, Sam. It won so many categories. I mean, that's true. It did. It did win the categories that it was applicable to. But yeah, I mean,
I'm not a fucking fool, Sam.
That's true. Yeah, I'm a big fan of this game. In fact, I should have made it number 2 if I was going to do anything. I probably regret making it number 3. I probably should have made it number 2. But it is what it is. We have Inscription at number 3. I've said lots of good things about Inscription already. Just the variety in the game between the 3 acts. I really liked the video segments as well of that guy recording himself and definitely not getting killed by that woman. That was pretty cool. And obviously it's a card building game. I like card games. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. The reason it's not number 2, though, is because number 2 is God of War Ragnarok. What? Why are you hiring this? What? What is wrong? Why would this not be number 2? Of course it's number 2. What do you mean what's going on? It didn't win a single category. It was only nominated for 1. It was nominated for Best Narrative. Just because it doesn't win any other categories doesn't mean I can't put it in Game of the Year. Game of the Year doesn't mean, oh, which game won the most? Which game won the most of the other categories? That must be Game of the Year. Listen, the game was fun. It looked nice. It had some really cool boss fights in it. You know, it had the Valkyrie Queen. It had High King Hrothgar or whatever his name was. You know, doing those fights and kind of finding the right combination of armor and abilities to use was kind of fun. The story was good. You know, the characters were good, except for Atreus, who somehow got worse as a character. Didn't think that was possible. Surely the Game of the Year winner won't be as scuffed. All right, would you like me to do the big reveal? I mean, Falco's already spoiled it, so it doesn't he just has to open his big fucking mouth sometimes, doesn't he? It was going to be like this really cool reveal of like, oh, it was the biggest letdown, but it was still a really good game. Nah, I baited you the other way. Number 1 is MS Saga. Let's fucking go.
Piss off, Ghost!
Fucking garden.
Emotional damage.
Piss off, Ghost!
I didn't finish MS Saga until this year. Yeah, I know. There's a reason for that.
I'm not a fucking fool, Sam.
There's a reason for that. The reason I didn't finish it until this year is so that I could make it number 1 in next year's Game of the Year as well. Got him. Because I technically played it this year as well. No, I was trying to underplay it a little bit, but yeah, like I said, for the last like 5 or 6 months, stop it. Stop it. For the last 5 or 6 months, I've really been struggling. I said stop it. Yeah, for the last 5 or 6 months, I'd really been struggling with streaming and just in general. And this was the game that I enjoyed playing the most in that time. This was the game that made me love streaming again. This was the game that made me excited to get up. I want to say get up in the morning, but you know, the entire time I was playing it, my sleeping schedule was massively fucked up. So this was the game that made me excited to wake up at midnight and hang around for a few hours and then start playing it again. So yeah, this game, I loved it. I thought it was great. It really spoke to me on a yeah. I really enjoyed it. Like, let's be look, I'm not like gonna oversell it or anything. Like, it didn't cure my depression or anything, but you know, it's a pretty special game. And I did really, really enjoy it. I did not find my Persona 5 Royal, no. No, that is not the case. I think that's it. Is that the last one? Yeah, that was the last one. There we go. That's the last slide. Let's hope Hogwarts Legacy will be good. You know, I've started to have like second thoughts about whether I'm actually going to play it or not. Where's Pokemon? Listen, those Pokemon games that released this year were fucking trash, okay? Breath of the Wild will win Game of the Year. Maybe. Guess we needed more time in the oven. Yeah. Breath of the Wild's coming out in May. May 23rd, I think. You think it will be delayed? Yeah, I think the game would have been fine if it wasn't for all the performance issues and everything. It was a bit weird. Anyway, let me have a look right here. What have we got? What the fuck is this? Frost. What the fuck is this? Oh my, I hate you. I hate you so much. Why would you do this? Hang on, Frost also has... I'm surprised Callisto Protocol wasn't on the letdown list. I mean, I didn't play it, so that's probably why. All right. Here we go. We have Frost's Game of the Year awards. You could have at least spelled my fucking name right in the credits section. Anyway, we got the awards. And then this, for some reason. Think your gambling may be a problem? Learn more about tab assist. Stay home. Gamble responsibly. That's for Sword. Okay. All right. Best soundtrack. We have Danganronpa V3, Persona 5 Royal, Crisis Core, and Soul Hackers 2. I wonder what's gonna win. Oh, what a surprise. It's Persona 5 Royal. Best Narrative, Crisis Core, Soul Hackers 2, Danganronpa 2, Persona 5 Royal. Crisis Core? Really? Really? How does Danganronpa 2 not win that? Come on. Best Gameplay, Danganronpa V3, Persona 5 Royal, Crisis Core, Pokemon Legends Arceus. Persona 5 Royal, what a surprise. Best Mechanic. Best Mechanic, Crisis Core. Is that for like the slots? Okay, yeah, I figured as much. Fair enough. Best multiplayer, Phasmophobia, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, VR Chat, Gary's Mod. Oh, Gary's Mod. Yeah. Not bad. Good shout. Best minigame. The sniping minigame from Crisis Core? Oh god, that Danganronpa bloody escape room thing. I remember. What is the ultimate talent development plan? What is that? Oh, is that from summer camp? Oh, it's the V3 version of Ultimate Summer Camp. Okay. And then you got insurance fraud from Saints Row 3? Oh, Ultimate Talent Development Plan. Fair enough. Best DLC SAS expansion, Genki Bowl, The Trouble with Clones, Gangsters in Space. Why are there 3 Saints Row ones on here? Okay. Wait, and then Soul Hackers 2. That's the is that just the DLC for that character? That one? Really? Okay. Fair enough. Ultimate Wife. Why is Adachi on here? Fuck's sake. Adachi, Makoto, what's that? Kyoko, Maki, and oh, what was that character's name? We got Cisne on there as well. I can't remember that character in the bottom left. I feel like I should, though. Chiaki. Okay. I mean, it's obvious who's going to win this. Yeah, of course. Of course it's Makoto. It will always be Makoto. Best graphics slash style, Soul Hackers 2, P5R, Danganronpa V3, and Crisis Core. Yeah, of those four, I would probably have given it to Persona as well. Best boss. Giratina, Sephiroth, Minerva, and Lavenza? I can never remember that character's name. And yeah, it's Lavenza. Okay. Most anticipated 2023 PlayStation Persona 3 Portable. Oh, that's right. Suicide Squad comes out this year. Forgot about that. Should probably add that to the list. You're not a fan of Makoto? Yeah, she's not that great. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Final Fantasy 16. Your most anticipated is FF7 Rebirth. Most surprising game, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Trigger Happy Havoc, Danganronpa, Phasmophobia, and Crisis Core. Danganronpa wins. Wow. You didn't have to change Suicide Squad from last year? Nice. Hello to you, Magnadeus. They always play my P4 main character as if he was a closeted homosexual and in love with Adachi. It's the only way the accomplice ending makes any sense. It's alright, I didn't think I'd like a visual novel either until Nem suggested it to me. Biggest letdown. How is Stranger of Paradise on your biggest letdown list? The fuck? I mean, Soul Hackers 2. Sure. It's going to be V3, isn't it? Fucking hell. Okay. Game of the year. 5th. Danganronpa 2. Fair enough. 4th. Soul Hackers made your top 5. Saints Row 3. Wow. Oh my god. Oh my god. Persona 5 Royal, not number 1. What is going on? Wait, let me just make sure I've still got a pulse. Yep, I'm definitely still alive. I don't think hell's frozen over. There's one more slide. Oh, fuck off. Yeah, I know it's a real thing. Crisis Core got Game of the Year. Okay, fair enough. Interesting list. Interesting list. Ah, dear. I don't think Sword's very happy with mine, so can't be any worse than mine. You only played 4 DLCs this year? Nah. Persona 5 Royal is basically a DLC. It's an expansion, so, you know, it fits. You could have put Royal on there. I mean, I did last year. I think it got beaten by Shadowbringers. Oh well. And there it is. That is the end of the Game of the Year awards. I am actually going to be heading off now, though, because I need to go find out what's going on with my dad, because apparently it's not good. Surprised Overwatch 2 wasn't biggest letdown. I knew it was going to be a letdown, so that's fine. Big 4 Lil, thank you for the follow from yesterday, and Rock Bottomless as well. Bird, Lancet Jades, Squall, Loinheart, Shane, and Zeno. Thank you guys for the follows as well. I will stream more cards tomorrow for sure. Yeah, I will be back tomorrow at the usual time, 10 a.m. UK time. We'll see you guys then. Thank you guys for hanging out. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Stay safe. Have a good one. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.